The monster trucks of America return to television with the most spectacular display of power ever. Join us as we show you a variety of these huge muscle machines in action. Car-crushing competition and an inside look at this country's latest phenomenon are next on War of the Monster Trucks. Everybody, and welcome to the War of the Monster Trucks. This is a third in a series of 3 one-hour television specials all about monster trucks. I'm Jan Gabriel, and joining me on the broadcast today is Bruce Flanders. You were there for the first one.
The first one. You couldn't believe it. We were out in the water in Malibu, California. We've got a monster truck out in the surf. It was an amazing shot. Then from there we went to Oklahoma City, where we saw the first ever truck crush off, and we saw Frankenstein's monster and the monster Corvette and a whole bunch of exciting vehicles.
On the second program, we took you to the Louisiana Superdome for some great heads-up competition. Well, this third broadcast comes to you from Chicago, Illinois, the heartland of America. It was here in the Midwest that the monster trucks were born. Monster trucks like this one, First Blood.
First Blood. This is about as state-of-the-art as you get in 4x4x4 competition. And remember, there was an extra 4 in there. There's 4 wheels driving, there's 4 wheels on the ground, and with this particular vehicle, there's 4 wheels that steer also.
Now, we first saw First Blood in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area at the Met Center in competition, and that's our first segment. Take a look. The Met Center is located just outside of Minneapolis-St. Paul, and what makes this contest a little bit different among 5 trucks is the fact that the judges will be these people. They'll be doing the judging here tonight, so let's take a look at the trucks and see who the competitors are. And here's our first competitor. This is the master of disaster. Doug Spanier is the driver. He's a hometown favorite, and he's not quite so sure he can win here tonight.
Probably not quite as good as much as most, but hopefully I'll be able to do okay.
Doug Spanier hoping that he can be competitive here this evening. 5 trucks. This is the first of the 5, and he is way up in the air now as he comes crashing down on the cars. Remember now, this audience is going to vote for these 5 trucks, and they're going to come up with a favorite. So these guys are going to have to really turn it on right now. So we'll follow the master of disaster, Doug Spanier, around the arena now. He'll go to the far side, and he'll go up on cars on the other side now as well for the folks over there. This happens to be a 1984 Chevrolet with 488 cubic inches, develops about 500 horsepower. This one has a little bit wider wheelbase than a lot of them. This is a 122-inch wheelbase, weighs 11,000 pounds. Let's watch him right now as Doug Spanier now gets all set and ready, and again he's way up in the air, does a nice job, and as you can see, he gets the approval of the audiences. Here at the Met Center, master of disaster. Watch this now, going backwards. Whoa, nice job. That'll find favorite with this judging crowd here tonight. Doug Spanier, he's from Albany, Minnesota. He's 23 years old, quite active in motorsports up here in the, I guess you can call it the upper Midwestern part of the United States. His best finish so far has been 5th in a 24-truck competition, so he's in good shape. And now, moving out onto the stadium floor is Dale Hancock in the Crimson Crusher. This truck has dual wheels, and as you can see, it looks pretty unique. He told us about his truck earlier this afternoon.
Well, this is my first time out with this truck. I used to have another one that was called Deuces Wild. It just ran single tires on it. I really prefer these tires over the Taurus. I don't get near the bounce or the wheel spin. I've got some really tough competition to run against tonight, and me being a novice at this, first time out with a car crusher, I kind of got the odds stacked against me, but I'm going to give it a heck of a shot.
Dale Hancock ready to make thunder around this arena in Crimson Crusher. Nice truck. He gets up nice and high. The dualies slam down on the cars now. He'll move over to the other side, see if he can find some approval from these fans on the other side of the arena. Crimson Crusher, developing about 600 horsepower. Hancock is 28 years of age, and as we said, he comes from Evansville, Indiana. This happens to be a 1979 Ford pickup truck. Here he goes now on the far side. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he can bring it up nice and high. Well, a little medium lift there. Here he goes slamming down. Let's keep our eyes on him. Let's see if he backs into it now, as some of the other trucks have. No, well, he's going to put the brakes on. We'll watch him carefully now. I think he's going to back into it. 600 horsepower. Bang, slams down. Trying to demolish and smash those cars to smithereens. I think he told you earlier, he used to drive a truck called Deuce's Wild. Real popular truck. So he's been around a while. Dale Hancock in the Crimson Crusher. He'll go over him one more time, hoping to pick up some votes here. So Dale Hancock, his run here in the Met Center is now history. Next driver, about to come out, and this is the one that a lot of folks have been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the infamous Bigfoot. Jim Kramer doing the driving.
I've got some new blood here, so to speak, and mainly one of those is called First Blood. But you can't really discount anyone. There's some really good engineers out there building these trucks now, and they're going through a little more trouble about learning how to drive the trucks before they bring them out in public and run against you. So you can't really discount anyone.
What an incredible amount of history in this vehicle. Bigfoot. Look at here. Jimmy Kramer literally flies across the cars. Matter of fact, he dragged the last one with him for about 10 feet. So Jimmy Kramer and Bigfoot. Bigfoot, conceived, invented about 11 years ago by Bob Chandler. 600 strong horsepower. Kramer now lining up on the far side so everybody can watch him over there. Here he is now making the approach on the cars. What's left of the cars are starting to get pulverized. Kramer now sets his sights. Up he goes. He's on the power throttle. Brings it down. The truck now down on the concrete. Let's see what else Jimmy Kramer has in store for us here now as he pilots Bigfoot around the Met Center. Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Lots of good folks up here enjoying this show here tonight as Jimmy Kramer does a 360, a donut, and the fans love it. He's going to back over these cars down. Here he is. Four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, and there you see Bigfoot flying way up in the air. Good lift. Kramer now. Probably going to run all the way over to the other side. Let's see what happens. Jimmy Kramer, you might remember, was on our broadcast of the second monster program called Return of the Monster Trucks, which came to you from the Louisiana Superdome. He won that particular event. Won it in fine style, although I must admit the final was sensational, if you'll remember, between Bigfoot and King Kong. What a tremendous battle that was with Jimmy Kramer winning it. All right, here's Kramer now, lining up on the far side for the last time. This will be the last opportunity he'll have in front of this audience. Here he goes, up, 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 and he gets some heavy lift up front. Bouncing around, and Jimmy Kramer now finishes up his run around the Met Center here this evening. Jimmy Kramer. Here's the hot red First Blood, driven by Rob Fuchs. He's a hard worker.
There's always something breaking. You're always modifying it. You know, you find something that works better, and it's ongoing. It's never done.
Rob Fuchs, he's ready to go in First Blood. Watch him now. He bangs into the car, flies up mighty high to the approval of this audience here in the Met Center. He can win this thing here now. He's a little bit nervous tonight. The truck is relatively new. He's been working on it for about 3 months now and has it really together over on that backside as he bounces down onto the concrete now. And remember, this whole show is taking place on about a 200-foot strip. It's about 200 feet long, about 175 feet wide, almost like a hockey rink. Matter of fact, it is a hockey rink. So, Rob Fuchs is through for the night. Let's see what happens now as Hercules moves out. Larry Torres, the driver, and he's concerned about a short wheelbase.
Well, it hurts me because I don't have the length to really be aggressive on the cars and keep the front end on the ground. 9 times out of 10, when I get aggressive, which I'm going to be tonight, the front end will come up quite a ways.
Larry Tura, ready to go. He's out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they traveled all the way up here to Minnesota to appear here tonight, and you can see not getting quite the lift that perhaps he would have liked to as he comes crushing down on the cars. This is really an interesting truck. The thing about it is, as Larry described to you, it has a shorter wheelbase. It's only about a 108-inch wheelbase. That's somewhere around, like a Camaro or a Trans Am, something like that. And he needs a little bit more to get over the cars. It does have a lot of horsepower, though, 750 horsepower, so certainly he's got plenty of horses to deal with. Here he is again now, climbing up over on the other side. And again, not as spectacular as perhaps he had hoped to. Now, the one thing that is neat about this particular truck, it is a flip top. He can actually drive this truck with the cab sitting flipped up way in the air. It has the controls already built in. It's the only one of its kind. Well, as you can see, he's struggling here a little bit this evening. Again, perhaps because it's just a little bit smaller than he'd like it to be in this particular competition. Larry Tura from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, did a nice job. Folks, give him a nice hand. Big folks and little folks as well. Well, here comes Bigfoot back out and the parade of trucks, because we're about ready for the voting. Another vehicle moving out. This is the Crimson Crusher. And as you can see, it's another one of those flip-top monster trucks. Dale Hancock down on the inside. He's doing the driving, hoping that he'll fare pretty well here tonight. Here's another guy who'd like to win it all. This is the Master of Disaster, Doug Spanier. And as you can see, this crowd is getting ready now to vote for one of these 5 trucks as their favorite here in the Met Center. There's Hercules with Larry Tura, First Blood with Rob Fuchs. There is Master of Disaster with Doug Spanier, Bigfoot, and of course, the Crimson Crusher. Now, let's go to Jerry Devine and find out who the winner's going to be. The Master of Disaster doing real well in the voting.
How many would like to see the Crimson Crusher?
The Crimson Crusher, Dale Hancock, must be a little disappointed not mustering up quite as much of applause as he'd like to.
Bigfoot!
Jimmy Kramer and Bigfoot getting a nice round of applause from the crowd. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's the next truck now.
Number 4. Let's hear it for First Blood!
First Blood, not drawing the applause he'd like to, but remember, it was only his first night out. There'll be big things for that vehicle to come a little bit later on, I'm sure.
Let's hear it for Hercules!
Hercules, the nose of the truck, propped high in the air. Larry Tura, certainly hoping he would have gotten a little bigger response from the audience here this evening. Right now, let's find out who's the winner.
Winner tonight, the Master of Disaster!
It's going to be the Master of Disaster, Doug Spanier. What a nice job he did. He's from Albany, Minnesota, and he is your winner. Now that's what you call some real heads-up competition.
Hey, that Master of Disaster, you can bet on that guy just about anywhere he goes.
If you're in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, he's a hometown favorite.
Hometown. Well, where are we going next?
Next, we're going to Australia to see a monster truck.
Down under, throw another shrimp on the barbie. You know, Jan, I had an opportunity to visit Australia once before after a tour of duty in Vietnam. I found the countryside to be beautiful, the people to be warm and friendly, and now we're going to get a chance to see the only monster truck in Australia.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the garage, appears the Aussie Battler, an 8 1/2 ton, 800 horsepower monster utility. Built by Australian Bruce Riley at a cost of $250,000, the Aussie Battler stands on tires 2 meters high and can climb 45-degree inclines without a whimper. With a maximum velocity of 20 kilometers per hour, it's not quite as fast as a speeding bullet, but it can crush cars in a single bound. There's even a little Aussie battler. I can't imagine there's a kid anywhere in the world who wouldn't want one of these hot little numbers. Well, it's time to go back and take a look at the big Aussie battler. It's really the pride of Australian ingenuity. It's big, bold, and very impressive as it clobbers cars, leveling them to scrap heaps. The truck is used for a variety of purposes, all are show and go. Whether it's roughing it out in the outback or monsterizing the city, the Aussie battler is everybody's favorite.
How many cars have you crushed so far with the Aussie battler?
Well, I've generally lost count now, Heath, but we're well over 200 cars now. Squashed them down flat.
Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed meeting up with the Aussie battler. It's a one-of-a-kind Australian showpiece. I'm Meg Moore. And now, let's go back to America with John Gabriel and Bruce Flanders.
Well, there you have it, the Aussie Battler, and it is awesome. Very expensive to build. All the parts had to be shipped from the United States down to Australia. The tires alone were $7,000 each by the time you paid for them in the United States and had these shipping charges down to Australia. You've been there before.
Down under. What a pretty neck of the woods, too. I'll tell you, Sydney, Australia is beautiful. They go racing in Australia like you can't believe. Quarter-mile tracks, half-mile tracks, sprint cars, midgets, all kinds of competition, and it's a beautiful place to visit.
Now, you talk about tracks. Well, that has something to do with our next vehicle. The Virginia Beach Beast runs on tracks, tank tracks. Take a look at this.
Willie Towns of Virginia Beach, Virginia has built this incredible car crusher. Maybe I should say car chewer. It literally chews up the cars with its treaded tank tracks. You know, it took 4 months to complete the conversion from an M4 Army tank to this slick Blazer look, and it's steered with 2 control levers rather than a steering wheel. And to explain how it all works would take days. We'd probably need an engineer then to explain it to us. Most importantly, the Beast is an ambitious project, and Willie can be proud of it.
Monster trucks are extremely powerful. Big motors, 4-wheel drive, as you have seen, they can literally fly over automobiles. But they are extremely safe. Rarely is there an accident. As a matter of fact, to our knowledge, there has only been one. And we're going to show that to you right now.
When Fred Schaefer climbs into his pickup truck for a Sunday drive, he sure turns a lot of heads. Schaefer built from the ground up the huge monster truck Barefoot. I'm sure if you'd ask him, he'd be the first guy to tell you that bigger is better.
We just started with a Chevrolet truck and started putting big tires on it, and then we started getting calls from promoters, and one thing led to another, and we kept improving the truck, and that was 6 years ago, and here we are today.
Barefoot has been seen in a wide variety of television commercials and network programs. But along with Barefoot, there's more than just bare tracks on the circuit. A variety of different monster trucks is what keeps this sport interesting.
The tower itself, it retails for $3,000, and the wheel retails for $1,100, so that's $4,100 per tire and wheel. They're made for combines and fertilizer sprayers. These tires are 74 inches tall and 44 inches wide on a 32-inch wheel, which is a very good-sized tire. It weighs around 1,600 pounds.
These big bruiser trucks can destroy anything.
People ask me if it's dangerous, and I say the most dangerous thing about it is getting in and out of the truck if you slip and fall. You feel pretty secure once you get up in there with those big rubber tires.
Although the trucks rarely have accidents, sometimes it does get a bit scary.
If it wasn't for kids, it wouldn't even be any monster trucks. They're the ones that support us. They come and they grab Dad by the hand and they say, let's go see Barefoot. And if it wasn't for kids, and we really play to the kids too, we really appreciate that.
Fred Schaefer loves to drive his monster truck. One night, at the urging of a friend, he let someone else drive. Fred stood on the sidelines and watched as the driver brought their truck up to the cars and punched it full throttle. Barefoot went straight up in the air and dramatically crashed to the ground. First concern was for the driver. The door was jammed and the crew worked feverishly to pull the driver from the wreckage. Finally, the driver was pulled safely from the cab. Everything was okay when Paula Harbeck spoke for herself.
I'm told this is the first time anybody's rolled a monster truck. How did you do that?
The wheelie bars broke. I don't know if you noticed on the back. They broke, both of them, and one broke before the other did, and it made it come down sideways.
What did you feel like sitting straight up in the air and all of a sudden realizing you're not going to make it?
I figured I'd be scared to death, but I just pulled away from the door and pulled away from the windshield. It wasn't that bad. It happened in slow motion, so.
You hurt it all?
No.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Thanks
The truck's hurt.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know, what you're seeing behind me is the great skyline of the city of Chicago. Some of the best architects in the world have built that skyline, and you can see the calming of Lake Michigan behind us also. Now, if you took some of that water out of Lake Michigan, dug up some dirt, mixed it all together, what do you get?
I don't know, the hydrogen bomb.
No.
Mud.
Mud, exactly. One of the hottest new sports in the country right now is mud bog racing.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Back to the Met Center, Minneapolis-St. Paul for down and dirty mud bog racing.
Up first is Ecstasy, a Chevrolet Blazer with a big block motor in it, making lots of horsepower.
Lenny Eskerka, he is the driver. Let's watch him carefully now. In the mud.
The objective is to get to the other end of the course in the quickest possible time, and he's ready to launch.
He is underway, slipping and sliding through the mud bog, and he is through already. Let's take a look at the time. Should be a dandy. 3.94 seconds. That's going to be tough to beat.
That is a very tough mark to beat, but if anyone can beat it, it's this next vehicle coming up, Jan.
This is a hot little number. This is called Quick Trip, a 1946 Jeep.
427 cubic inches, a supercharger, easily 1,200 horsepower machine, tied with a safety cable to catch him in case he gets to the other end too quick.
Now, this is Mike O'Connell. He is ready to have at it. Watch him carefully now. Big wheels, four-wheel drive, going through the mud to the left, to the right, and he is through in 3.12 seconds.
Mike O'Connell from Newport, Minnesota, currently now the quick time of the beat.
Yeah, that could hold up. Now, there are the real mud bog fans right there in the action.
Oh, bingo, front row seats, the euchre style.
Well, I'll tell you, they love it. Now, you'll see, there'll be some people coming right down there to sit there so that they can get some mud all over them as well. All right, here's our next competitor. This is the Legend, another funny car Jeep, you could call it.
Yeah, it might have started out as a Jeep, but as you can see, they've really rearranged the bodywork with a lot of fiberglass. This is a very fast vehicle, but remember, he's got to beat a 312.
Another driver out of the state of Minnesota, Mike Keeney, and he is ready to go. This is another vehicle that can get the job done. Here he is now, thrashing in the mud.
Oh, listen to that motor run, and what a finish, man. He plows off the finish line.
I think Ken Heidemann, our cameraman, just got sprayed down there. See, there are more people there than before. I told you, they just absolutely love it. Here's his time, that 3:17. Not quite fast enough, but I'll tell you, he's running second right now in the competition. And look at this wonder of wonders.
Once again, Chevrolet Blazer, but this guy's got a wild idea about where the front axle should be.
This is Dave Billingsley out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. This is a vehicle called Discontent, and he's in the mud.
Oh, he's in the deepest part of it now, sinking.
That's what you call being trapped.
Now, here's where the safety cable will come good because they'll be able to pull him out and go right on to the next competitor in a hurry.
Now, here's the way to do it. Here's a family that brought their own mud flaps.
And they're enjoying themselves, too.
Here's the next vehicle. This is Mud Hog, big and bulky, driven by Tom Lindemann. Let's see how well he does.
It's a Power Wagon front, but it's got a Chevy bed on it. It's a strange combination of parts with a strange slow attitude right now.
Yeah, he's going to bog down real early here. Just for those of you at home who might not know, this pit starts out 3 foot deep and then eventually goes to 4 feet deep, and he's in 4 foot of mud right now.
Yeah, he's digging his way down to the concrete floor.
So Tom Lindemann here, a little over 30 seconds, so that'll put him out of the competition. But evidently he had some fun going down in the mud pit.
And they still appreciated him. He gave it a heck of a try. Hard on parts.
Good-looking truck. Colorful. Fans love it. Here's Outcast now. This little jobbie could do it.
Once again, it's a Jeep type of a body and with lots of horsepower under the hood and all 4 wheels driving.
Yeah, he's got a Chevrolet under there, a big, powerful one, but he's all over the place. Took the long way home.
The long distance award, but he gets to the finish line with a 9:28.
Tom Hagen is the driver as he sinks deeper and deeper and deeper into the bog.
Yeah, but this time he did it past the finish line, and here we come with a tough competitor.
This is Master Mudder. Used to be the master of Disaster Monster Truck, and they've sort of spun it off into a series of its own, the Master Mudder. Rick Young out of Richfield, Minnesota will be doing the driving, and is he plowing through?
Boy, and once again, that big block motor working hard. He was all over the course with a 3:45.
Yeah, that's not going to win the meet, and the meet is over, and your winner is Quick Trip, Mike O'Connell, and there he is. Nice little piece.
Oh, yeah, and the supercharger's still working well on the top of it.
Just an outstanding job by all the competitors. Now, you have to admit, that is the thickest, ooziest mud you have ever seen.
And those spectators there, do they get involved in that sport or what?
They have it in their hair, it's on their face, and they just absolutely love it. Now, here in Chicago, off in the skyline, you can see what they call Navy Pier. A lot of movie work is done there. Chicago becomes more and more of a movie city every year. And they wreck cars and trucks off of that pier. They drop them into Lake Michigan, they crash them against things. But what's most the interesting sidelight to that is the fact they use beater cars to save money, and old ugly trucks and things of that nature. Now you had an old ugly truck.
I had a 1954 Ford truck with 360,000 miles on it, and by the time I got done with it, it was plenty.
Now, where did you go to put 360,000 miles on that truck?
It had a couple of 100,000 on it before I ever got a hold of that piece.
Well, we're going to show you some ugly trucks. We went down the Louisiana Superdome for an ugly truck contest. Now, I'm not going to tell you who the winner was. You can judge for yourself. You're looking at the astrological sign for Taurus, Taurus the Bull. In monster truck competition, Taurus is a truck driven by Jack Willman. And Jack had some problems not too long ago.
You're right, Jan, and you know, they have an enviable safety record, the monster trucks do, whether they're in competition or putting on a show for the people. But out on the highway, they face the same kind of problems that you and I might. And Jack had a problem in Florida on the highways.
And here to tell us more about it is Del Clark.
Well, Jan, as you know, the safety record of these monster trucks is outstanding. They rarely get into difficulty when they're performing. There is an accident, chances are it'll be when they're being transported from show to show. And that's unfortunately exactly what happened to this one. Taurus, owned by Jack Willman, one of the most famous monster trucks on the circuit today. Actually, Taurus was to be a part of our show here today, but as you can see, it's not at exactly performing capacity right now. To tell us what happened, here's its owner, Jack Willman.
The accident happened just outside of Ocala, Florida, just a couple miles north of Ocala, Florida. And we was headed down to the Orange Bowl in Miami. And we pulled off side of the road in the emergency lane to change drivers. And just as we was completing changing the drivers, well, we got hit in the back. We didn't really know what was going on. It was a very weird feeling like we was running off a cliff or something.
Fortunately, no one was injured in that accident, and Jack is building a brand new Taurus. Right now, let's take a look at some film highlights of the final days of the old Taurus.
Are you ready down there, flagman? Count it down. Crowd right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Show of strength, car pull apart right there. The Taurus truck and the gigantic Orange Crush.
Hi everybody, I'm Carol Seitz. We've really seen a lot of trucks on the program today, and they all had their origin and were built somewhere. And we believe this one happens to be the oldest truck in existence, or at least the oldest armored truck. It was originally built by the Marmon Company in Indianapolis, Indiana in 1898 for a military academy. Yes, 88 years ago. It was steam-powered, was covered with armored plates, and came equipped with its very own automatic gun, made by the Colt Company. Yes, the same people that made those Colt 45 pistols. But since this original baby, trucking has come a long way. Today, there are over 5 million trucks on the roads of America. There are 8 different classes of trucks ranging from over 26,000 pounds to 80,000 pounds. Trucks haul everything from lettuce to nuclear waste. There are long-haul carriers, short-haul carriers, tank car carriers that haul everything from gasoline to chocolate milk. An average truck driver puts in approximately 100,000 to 120,000 miles per year. Drivers are allowed to drive 10 hours per day maximum. Most truckers travel with partners to allow more hour time on the road. There's been a growing trend of what Time magazine labeled as truppies, young married couples that travel together and are both qualified licensed truck drivers. The trucking industry is 80% male, but more and more women are entering the world of trucking. So there you have it. A salute to all those truckers all across America who keep us all rolling along.
I love those old antique trucks. They were the forerunner of today's monster trucks.
And an amazing part of history, too.
Indeed. Talk about history. This bus that you see behind me is a little bit of history, too. It's an English double-decker. They use it here in Chicago for sightseeing tours. And it wasn't too long ago, you and I were on tour to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma City. They wrap this guy up in bandages, they stuff him in a car, then they come up with a monster truck and crush it. You wait till you see this.
Watch carefully.
That's Jim Oldacre. We're in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma right now. This was the very first of the monster vans called Rolling Thunder. Now this particular vehicle is one of the heaviest of the monster trucks. And inside for horsepower, you've got a GMC Detroit Diesel V653. Same kind of horsepower that runs a Greyhound bus down the road, so you know he makes lots of grunt, lots of low-end torque. Oldacre himself out of Redondo Beach, California. Now you're looking at Michael Kent. Michael Kent is a magician and an escape artist. His objective at this particular point in time is to try and escape from a vehicle about to be crushed by Rolling Thunder. As you can see, they've bound his hands, they've got him in a bag, they've got him all taped up. This is something that you can't get out of easily. Now, Michael Kent knows what he's up against, and the thing is that Oldacre has no idea what's going to really happen, and Oldacre got worried about this a little while ago, made him sign a release that said he couldn't be held liable. Now, see the car on the left underneath the monster truck with the blacked out windows? Well, he can't see when it's going to happen. He has no idea. And we're going to put Michael Kent inside of that car on the left. Then at some point in time, they'll give the start signal for Oldacre to get the monster truck up on top, and the roof's going to collapse. The car is going to go away, and inside is going to be Michael Kent. Hopefully, out of his bondages there and able to escape from the car. As you can see, he can't move, he can't wiggle. I don't know how. Maybe he is trying to get himself loose inside, though, a little Houdini type of trick. There's Oldacre standing up on his right front tire, checking this whole deal out. I'm telling you, this guy was worried before this event started. He didn't like this idea at all. They're carrying him over. This is Michael Kent. They're going to put him in the back seat of the Chevrolet right now. Ceremoniously, I guess you would have to say, the crowd, oh no, they're ready for this whole deal. They don't know what's going to happen. See the windows, the way they're blacked out so that Michael Kent will not be able to know what's going on? Now the last of his attendants climbing out of the vehicle. Close the door, watch closely, because the start signal happens right away, quick, and Kent got out. That was him. He bailed out of the door, and he's completely free of all of those bindings. That kid is amazing. Michael Kent, a magician and an escape artist, an extraordinary one, too. Now, if you want to see tall and big, we're going to be going to St. Louis, Missouri to see the tallest, the biggest, the widest, the heaviest monster truck in captivity. It's owned by Bob Chandler, and it's called the legendary Bigfoot.
Well, Bruce, it all began about 11 years ago in an effort to publicize the Midwest Four-Wheel Drive and Performance Center here in St. Louis near the airport. A monster 4x4 truck was built. And here is the guy that designed and built Bigfoot. This is Bob Chandler. And Bob, here in the Midwest on a hot summer evening, it's not uncommon for the folks to enjoy surveying the neighborhood from a porch swing. But this is not your typical porch swing. This, in fact, is suspended from the front bumper of the biggest Bigfoot.
This is Bigfoot 5 right here, Gary.
Where'd you get these tires and wheels?
They came from a junkyard in Seattle. They're off of Alaska Land Train. They're about 10, 15 years old. The tires are all dry rotted, but I bought 8 of these tires and wheels about 3 years ago.
Now, I have covered motorsports all across the country, and I think one of the most popular events is the mud bog. And I know you enjoy that with this particular vehicle.
Yes, we tried this one in the mud first about a week ago in Indianapolis. And it really did good, but for mud you need a truck with wheel speed. And this thing here, geared at 310 to 1, it was really slow. I didn't quite make it through the pit.
Well, now, I don't want to say that you have big feet, but you have more than one monster truck.
I like to call them Bigfoot trucks rather than big feet. Yeah, we have a total of 7 trucks. We have 4 Bigfoot trucks, the big full-size trucks that we tour with. Ms. Bigfoot, the Aerostar, and then this one that we usually leave on a mound here.
And what kind of an entourage do you have when you travel?
We have 6 different motorhomes that we tow with. They're big LTL Ford trucks, and we pull a trailer with the vehicles in the back.
And how many people do you use?
Total between the companies, Midwest Full Drive and Bigfoot, is 50 people.
And how long does it take to really change tires? This is not your championship Indy-style pit stop.
Well, on the regular trucks, it's only half hour, but this thing here would take, when we run the duals, it's about a 3-hour job, and it takes 6 people, hard work.
Well, the last time Jan Gabriel was here talking with you, you had a challenge that you couldn't quite meet.
The gravel ramp.
The gravel ramp in Cleves, Ohio, and you couldn't quite make it over the top.
Yeah, it's a 270-foot high hill. It's a 70-degree angle, and it's pea gravel. And this year, for the first time in 4 years of trying, I made it over with Bigfoot 1.
But what changes?
Well, we increased the horsepower, put another carburetor on, set the blower up, put nitrous oxide on it. I screwed the tires to the wheels so I can drop the air pressure more. We took about 2,000 pounds of weight out of the truck.
You have been crushing your competition, going head-to-head for all these 11 years, and one of the most popular aspects of monster trucks is crushing cars. But now you are literally crushing monster trucks.
Yeah, we tried something here at the shop a few years back, and we just did it again about 2 months ago. We drove over 2 monster trucks. We set them up just like a normal full-size truck with a 66-inch tall tires on it and drove over with this truck right here.
We have seen how far you've come in 11 years with all the competition now, but how far can you go safely without hurting somebody?
What we're doing, and we've been doing for the last 6 months, is setting up a set of rules for the monster trucks. We're talking to promoters, we're talking to other truck owners, monster truck owners, and we want to keep our sport safe. We want to keep it around for years to come. So I think within 6 months we're going to get this set of rules done that everybody can abide by, and it'll make a safer sport out of what we're running.
What's on the drawing board next for Bigfoot?
Well, I can't tell you that. You guys just wait and see.
And I'll be ready to take another ride with you. Bob, thanks for the visit.
Thank you, Gary.
The legendary Bigfoot, always a favorite.
You know, Jan, a lot of people are surprised to find out that Bigfoot can actually float.
Well, it's not only Bigfoot, most monster trucks can float on water. Now, although they weigh about 13,000 pounds, these tires are so big, have so much air in them, that they actually create buoyancy for the truck. If you took one out in the harbor here, it would indeed float. But right now, we're going to change our direction a little bit and head to the south side of Chicago, where there are some dastardly deeds going on.
When Detective Slick Watson discovered the whereabouts of criminal Bud Rossi, notorious for sabotaging as many as 10 monster trucks, he sets out to get his man. But when he goes to make the arrest, little does he realize his troubles have just begun.
How you doing?
Okay. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for Bud Rossi. Is he around?
Who? I don't know him.
I got a federal warrant out for his arrest.
Not wanting to be captured, Rossi slips out the back door and steals away in Detective Watson's car.
My car! Is this your truck? Yeah. Police business. Follow that car.
Looking to chase Rossi, Slick commandeers the monster truck Gentle Ben. Rossi, realizing that he soon may be caught, finds a hiding place, or so he thinks. Spotted by a man on the street, Rossi is doomed. Slick goes into action, knowing the danger. He thinks fast and uses Gentle Ben's power to bring Rossi to justice. Can Rossi survive the explosion? Indeed he does, and justice prevails.
Hey pal, it's the end of the line.
Well, I'm certainly glad they caught the bad guy. You know, we've seen a lot of monster trucks on the program today, but we haven't seen them all.
No, far from it. You know, there's over 100 of them in existence already in the United States, and there's probably that many more under construction at this very moment.
So let's take a look at some other monster trucks. We have seen some outstanding monster trucks today. Some a little more unique than others, but all were terrific.
And it's probably the proper time to pay tribute to the guys who own them, build them, and drive them. Showmen, all of them, exciting people to watch.
And without them, these programs wouldn't have been possible. So I, too, would like to add my thanks to all the owners and the drivers. I'm Jan Gabriel, along with Bruce Flanders. We'll see you next time with more monster trucks, or perhaps monster cars.